Picture a coin that quietly bridges the gap between the roar of Saturn V rockets and the quiet dignity of a wartime commander, fitting snugly into a collector's hand, yet carrying a story that spans history, astronomy, and the art of minting itself. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar, often passed over as just another Ike, actually hides within its layers of copper and nickel a treasure trove of rarities, errors, and grade-driven surprises that can thrill even the most seasoned numismatist. Think back to an America still riding the wave of Apollo 11's triumph, a nation eager to celebrate both its 34th president and its greatest space achievement on a single piece of metal. That dual tribute set the stage for a coin that, half a century later, demands a closer look from those who prize stories as much as silver content. In the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint faced a unique challenge: produce a circulating dollar that honored President Dwight D. Eisenhower and the lunar landing, but do so without sparking runaway production costs. Designer Frank Gasparo struck a delicate balance. On the obverse, a solemn portrait of Eisenhower presents him not as a politician, but as a general whose decisions changed the course of world history. Flip the piece, and you find the Apollo 11 mission insignia, a stylized eagle touching down on the moon's surface with expert precision. This dual imagery offered collectors a tangible link to both terrestrial leadership and extraterrestrial exploration, even as environmental concerns and rising metal prices made large-sized dollars less popular in everyday commerce. When production began in 1971, most struck coins quickly disappeared into circulation and piggy banks, destined to languish unnoticed for decades. By 1974, over 70 million Eisenhower dollars rolled off presses in Philadelphia and Denver. Numbers that sound impressive until you consider how many ended up melted down or left unclaimed in bank vaults. That's where savvy collectors strike gold. While clad circulation strikes remain common, the proof and uncirculated silver issues of 1974 carry tiny mintage figures by comparison. Silver planchets, introduced briefly to appeal to bullion buyers, numbered fewer than 200,000 at the San Francisco Mint. Less than 10% of those have survived in top grades, making them among the most hotly contested pieces at any auction showcasing modern issues. Spotting a valuable $1,974 starts with inspecting the mint mark. Philadelphia coins bear no letter, Denver coins feature a small D, and San Francisco proofs get an S. Hold the coin under good light and look for doubling on the date and lettering. A misaligned die can leave a faint echo of the numerals or the "In God We Trust" motto. Broad strikes, where the planchet slips past the collar leaving a slightly larger diameter, create a dramatic, smooth field that collectors prize. Off-center strikes, rare but spectacular, send the eagle or the date precariously close to the rim, creating a striking visual imbalance. Each of these anomalies appears only a handful of times among tens of millions of strikes, offering 1 in 1,000 odds for the lucky finder rummaging through bank rolls. In standard circulated grades, a 1974 Eisenhower dollar feels like pocket change. You might find it trading for just $1 or $2. It's only when wear is minimal, light scuffing on the high points, intact luster and protected recesses, that prices begin to climb. About uncirculated, AG 3 to 53 Australian dollars. Pieces command $10 to $20, thanks to strong eye appeal despite minor chatter or scratches. Once you reach mint state territory, the real excitement unfolds. MS-60 examples hover around $20 to $30, while MS-63 coins in brilliant condition routinely sell for $50 or more. Specimens graded MS-65, a threshold that demands full luster and near-perfect strike, can fetch several $100s, and those crossing into MS-67 territory routinely break into 4-digit territory. Proof coins introduce another level of collector passion. The 1974 S-proof clad issue carries a softly mirrored background and frosted devices, making the portrait of Eisenhower almost glow against the field. Silver proofs, struck on .400 fine silver planchets, add metallic heft and a more pronounced cameo contrast. A pristine silver proof at MS-68 Plus can soar into the tens of thousands, as bullion demand marries with collectible appeal. From cherry red to deep chestnut toning, The pattern is developed over decades and paper envelopes create one-of-a-kind personalities. A proof with swirling lavender and amber hues can outshine a colorless counterpart tenfold, simply because its colors tell a story that luster alone cannot. Collectors chasing error varieties relish the hunt for those off-metal curiosities. A handful of blue ikes occurred when planchets meant for the bicentennial quarter found their way into the dollar press, resulting in a copper-nickel-clad dollar with a faint greenish tint and unusual fields. Tales abound of bank tellers whispering about odd-looking dollars, only to watch them slip into collector hands before news of the anomaly could spread. Then there's the elusive repunched mint mark. Denver D.S. re-stamped atop faint earlier impressions, creating ghostly halos around the official mark. Finding such a coin in a bulk roll can feel like unearthing buried treasure, and indeed, once graded and slabbed, these coins can sell for thousands. Of course, condition remains the ultimate arbiter of value. Minor surface hairlines or small bag marks might matter little to a casual hobbyist, but prove fatal to a high-end bidder aiming for a clean MS-67. This makes grading guidelines and professional services indispensable. Coins submitted to TPGs, third-party graders, that earn a plus grade or CAC sticker can command premiums of 10 to 15% over uncertified examples. Provenance also matters. Coins traced back to renowned collections or long-held family heirlooms carry an extra allure, simply because their journey adds to the narrative that collectors love. Beyond the mint marks and grades lies the human element. One Texas collector recounts how a single MS-66 Denver $1,974, bought as part of a lot from a local estate sale, covered his son's college tuition when it sold at auction 3 years later. A Midwest dealer recalls a frantic 2-hour bidding war for a heavily toned silver proof. The coin's deep amber hues captivating bidders even as its metal content paled compared to modern bullion issues. These stories underscore that, for experienced collectors, the thrill often transcends pure investment metrics. It's about the discovery, the history, and the shared bond among those who appreciate the smallest echoes of American heritage pressed into metal. When you're ready to hunt your own $1,974, start with clear criteria. Select coins with full, undisturbed rims. Inspect fields for even toning. And if possible, examine under magnification for die doubling or off-center impressions. Compare against high-resolution images from trusted sources, and don't shy away from seeking second opinions from reputable dealers or online forums. Ultimately, patience pays. Coins bought today for a modest premium in the MS-64, MS-65 range could become tomorrow's headline auction lot, as supply dwindles and collector demand waxes. As you tuck away that pocket-sized time capsule, remember that each 1974 Eisenhower dollar unites the legacy of a wartime leader, the triumph of lunar exploration, and the quirks of mechanical minting into one tangible piece of history. Whether you prize the warm patina of a silver proof, the crisp strike of a mint-state specimen, or the oddball allure of an off-center error, you're holding more than a coin. You're holding a story that spans generations. Keep your eyes sharp, grip steady, and your heart open to the unexpected. Next, we'll turn our attention to another intriguing $1 issue from 1972, where a different blend of rarity and mystery awaits. Sliding through the corridors of numismatic history brings us back 2 years earlier to a coin that entered a world still savoring the moon landing and wrestling with economic shifts on the home front. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar, while sharing its dual homage to President Dwight D. Eisenhower and Apollo 11, carries a personality all its own, one shaped by subtle design tweaks, minting fluctuations, and the quiet drama of error varieties that test even the sharpest collector's eye. If the 1974 issue thrills you with its low-mintage silver proofs and wild planchet mix-ups, then the 1972 piece offers a more nuanced puzzle. Clad circulation strikes hiding rare die varieties, proof coins that defy their common status, and condition rarities that reward the most patient searchers. To start, let's rewind to early 1972, when America's confidence in space exploration still shone brightly against the backdrop of the Cold War. The Mint's continuing mission was clear: produce an Eisenhower dollar that would both honor the general-turned-president and memorialize the first lunar alighting, yet keep production scalable for everyday use. Designer Frank Gasparo carried over his original motifs: Eisenhower's calm, steely gaze on the obverse and the lunar landing eagle on the reverse, and refined them ever so slightly. The portrait gained a touch more relief, heightening the contrast between shadow and highlight, and the lunar surface textures on the reverse grew crisper and better defined. These modest improvements created coins that, when struck perfectly, display a richness of detail surpassing earlier issues. Mintage numbers for 1972 climbed past 22 million in Philadelphia and nearly 29 million in Denver for circulation strikes, making them common in pocket change and rolls alike. Yet buried within those tens of millions lie error coins and special strikes that retailers and casual spenders overlooked. Shift-aligned dies sometimes produced weak strikes on Denver pieces, leaving the eagle's wing feathers slightly blurred, an imperfection usually avoided but now prized by error aficionados. Broader misfeeds led to a handful of $1,972 being struck on wrong planchets, some even on planchets intended for 5-cent pieces, resulting in petite, misshapen curios that command attention at any swap meet. Collectors hungry for proof coins know to seek out the S mint mark from San Francisco. The 1972 S proof-clad dollars numbered over 2 million, making them seemingly abundant until you factor in how few remain in flawless condition. Under magnification, proof surfaces reveal microscopic polishing lines that shimmer beneath frosted devices, provided those lines haven't been marred by careless handling. The silver-clad proofs, struck on .400 fine silver planchets to satisfy bullion collectors, tell a parallel tale. Only a sliver of those 1.3 million coins remain in grades above MS68, and the few examples that do show off deep mirror fields and punchy frost continue to surprise on auction night. Finding a valuable $1,972 often begins with the basics: inspecting the strike quality and looking for die doubling around the date or motto. An especially elusive variety is the FS over TFS doubled FS 101 die pairing, where the foliage details on the reverse appear subtly echoed. Fewer than a few dozen have surfaced, and one high-grade specimen, preserved in pristine mint state with a strikingly broad, mirrored field, once sold for over $4,500 at a regional show. Meanwhile, proof specialists prize coins exhibiting cameo contrast, where the frosted eagle and lettering stand out like ivory against a pitch-black background. A 1972 S proof with ultra-deep cameo earned a plus grade and sold beyond 10 times the price of a standard proof, simply because its visual pop evoked the drama of the moon landing all over again. When it comes to market values, circulated 1972 Eisenhower dollars trade close to face, often between $1.10 and $1.50, which reflects their plentiful supply. About uncirculated examples, grades 50 to 58 Australian dollars start to climb into $10 to $15 territory, buoyed by attractive luster and minimal wear. Mint state coins graded MS60, MS62 can fetch $20 to $30, while MS63 pieces, those with bold strikes and vibrant surfaces, often trade for $40 to $60. Crossing into MS65 territory signals a serious find: a flawless strike with no bag marks or contact blemishes that might interrupt the eye appeal. Collectors competing for MS65 $1,972 often pay $150 to $200, and a top-end MS66 or MS67 coin, with its razor-sharp details and silky surfaces, can demand $1,000 or more. Proof coins follow a similar gradient. Standard clad proofs in PR65 condition usually retail around $25 to $30, with PR67 examples jumping to $100 to $120. The silver proofs stand on their own pedestal. An MS67 Plus silver proof sealed the deal at a major auction house for $2,600, while one-of-a-kind MS68 Plus cameo pieces have soared past $5,000. What drives these prices isn't the metal content alone, which at .7734 ounces of silver barely registers on the bullion scale, but the collectability tied to pristine optics and the tales of mint state survivors. It's not uncommon to hear of bidders dueling over a single proof dollar, each convinced that the coin in their slab is the finest example of lunar commemoration ever struck. Anecdotes about $1,972 discoveries bring color to collector conversations. One hobbyist in Oregon recounted finding a circulation strike 1972 Denver dollar with an off-center collar. You could see Eisenhower's face nearly brushing the coin's rim. What began as a roll hunt at a local bank ended with a certification as an MS-64 off-center error, and a subsequent sale netted the finder nearly $2,000, enough to fund his next grading spree. In another instance, a Massachusetts dealer discovered a cache of 1972 silver proofs still sealed in original mint envelopes in the attic of a collector who'd forgotten them for decades. The seller, unaware of their pristine status, accepted a modest estate valuation, and the dealer later sold them individually, each fetching 4 figures. Condition remains the cornerstone of value. A single hairline scratch across the field can drop a coin's grade by multiple levels, trimming hundreds from its potential sale price. That's why dedicated collectors invest in handheld magnifiers, proper lighting, and acid-free flips to preserve surfaces. Professional grading services vary in strictness, too. A coin that earns an MS-65 from one service might be deemed MS-64 by another, which can translate to tens or even hundreds of dollars in value difference. Securing a CAC sticker after grading provides a seal of approval that nudges prices up by an average of 12 to 15%, an assurance many buyers aren't willing to compromise on. Beyond the chase for high grades and dramatic errors lies the coin's intrinsic story. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar, minted at a time when American ambitions reached for the stars yet grappled with economic turbulence, represents a snapshot of a nation in flux. Its design speaks of leadership and exploration, of the shifting priorities of a mint balancing artistry, cost, and demand. Every surface strike, every doubled die, and every off-metal oddity tells a tiny chapter of manufacturing realities and human oversight. For collectors aged 40 and above, those who recall seeing these coins in their youth, perhaps pocketing one after a family road trip, the thrill is as much emotional as financial. As you flip through your own collection, remember that the $1,972 rewards patience, a keen eye, and a willingness to learn the language of mint marks, die varieties, and professional grading verbiage. Whether you're scanning rolls for the odd off-center error or chasing the gleam of a cameo proof, the journey itself holds its own payoff. And who knows, the next 1972 Eisenhower dollar you hold might just be the key to a new chapter in your collecting story, one marked by discovery, history, and the quiet satisfaction of unearthing a pocket-sized piece of Americana.